Meng Wanzhou left her luxury home on the way to the courthouse as media from around the world watched. On arrival, more cameras. The crowd was so large, an overflow area had to be set up. Inside the courtroom, arguments focused on what's called double criminality. The law states that to extradite someone, there has to be a similar offense in both Canada and the United States. U.S. authorities have charged Meng with fraud for allegedly lying to a bank in violation of U.S. sanctions against Iran. Today in court, her lawyers argued there is no equivalent crime in Canada, telling the court, "This has every appearance of the United States seeking to enlist Canada to enforce the sanctions we have repudiated." An uphill battle, says this Vancouver lawyer.
Canadian prosecutors will be arguing that this is a red herring, this focus on sanctions. The real issue is whether Ms. Meng engaged in conduct that defrauded banks operating in the United States.
Cell phone giant Huawei is waging its own campaign to support Meng.
We think that she's very much a pawn in his trade dispute with China. We think Canada has been dragged into the middle of this.
Tension over this case has soured the Canada-China relationship and is widely blamed for China detaining 2 Canadians on spying charges. But the federal justice minister says he won't exercise his ministerial power to intervene.
We want Ms. Meng to have every legal protection that the Canadian legal system affords, and we think our process has done that.
These initial arguments will wrap up later this week, but this is only the first in a long string of legal challenges, meaning many more trips to court. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Vancouver.
Okay, I want to bring in Jason Proctor now from outside the courthouse, because Jason, you've been following this story from the very beginning. So tell me, what was it like to be inside that courtroom today?
You know, there was an electric atmosphere. There was a huge anticipation around this appearance. It's been more than a year in the coming. Meng Wanzhou has clearly wanted to get out there and argue that she should be released, that she shouldn't be extradited. You had media from around the world during this massive courtroom, which is full of Huawei executives, curious members of the public, and people who have followed this in the news and just wanted to see this woman herself in person make her appearance and make her case in front of a judge.
And over time, Jason, we have seen a change in how Meng Wanzhou has approached this publicly.
Yeah, you know, she made her first appearances in prison sweats in this very same courtroom, waiting to be released. She's since switched to designer dresses and these kind of shoes that accentuate the GPS ankle monitoring bracelet. We've heard from PR people with Huawei that essentially she's putting herself out there. She believes and has said she hasn't done anything wrong, and so she's trying to put herself out here and express her feeling that she's a victim here and that she's being used as some kind of political pawn. Whether or not a judge feels that way remains to be seen.
Okay, Jason Proctor, thanks very much.
Thank you.